Okie doke. I see that.
Okay, there are a couple of things here.
Okay.
I was able to convert all of these things to MTEX. They were individual.
Yes. Okay.
And then I was trying to, I computed the areas in model space and I changed them to paper space. And I was trying to make them a part of this so that I could move it around or whatever, but then I couldn't get that to work. And then I had second thoughts about whether it was a good idea. And then I thought I would, and these I've just lined up by eyeball.
Yep. Okay.
These I didn't line up at all. And I got to thinking about whether they look better over on the right or whether they would look better centered.
Yeah. Okay.
And I thought you would have excellent taste in that.
Okay.
The other thing is I need to copy these two things. Where'd I go? Oh, I need to copy these two things and bring them over here. And so I was going to move this all up.
Oh, okay.
I talked to you about last night.
Yep.
But what I quickly discovered is, as you know, is that all of these things don't move.
Correct.
So I'd have to move them all by hand. Now I thought about, well, should I just change them back to model space and then they all would move? And I could change them back to paper space again.
Well, you could, although one thing you could also do is this, is if you just simply, I mean, it's not like you need to see more or less of the model than what is already showing, right? So
right,
you could say, select the viewport and then simply move the viewport. So, and I'll show you what I mean by that. So we can, so I've got it selected. I've got the move command going. And now I'm going to move it, say, from here to, you know, up here, which that may or may not be too far. If that looks to be like, maybe we'll do it. And of course, we'll have to move this stuff back down. But now I'm going to undo that. And so show you how you can get everything to move with it is, if we select the viewport and everything that's in the viewport. So I'm going to take this. I've got it all selected. Now I don't want to move this. So I'm going to deselect these things by holding the shift key and doing a crossing. So I now have everything selected, which is viewport, which has everything in the model and everything else in the paper space.
don't want to move the notes up there on the right, top right.
Okay. So there we go. Good call. And we probably don't want to move that. Or this. But this we're not going to be able to prevent because it's in model space, but I'll show you what we'll do with that in a minute. So if we now move this, and let's say, we're going to take that from there to say, like that. Does that give you enough? I mean, we'll be clipping this off.
Yeah, should.
Okay. So we'll do that and then we'll rearrange how this is going to work. So now, just to keep our sensibilities about us, we're going to take the viewport and sort of, you know, bring it in to the paper a little bit better. So we'll keep that there on the bottom. I'm going to slide it over here to the right. And then we're going to go out into model space and scoot this over is what we'll do. And I'm going to bring this down. Okay, let me see here. This will be the better way to do that. If I, oh dear, oh, sorry. We'll have to undo that till we're back here. I forgot there's a polyline under there. We got the, we picked that up when we moved everything. I didn't mean to move that part. All right, so there's the viewport. Let's take everything that's in it, or everything on paper space, except for these items. And that is deselected, and that's deselected. There we go. Now, when we move, that'll put us maybe just a skosh like that. All right. I mean, well, all right. So there's our viewport. Now, if we keep this like, we can keep it as a rectangle. Then we would have to, let's see here. So if we kept it as a rectangle and sort of use that to trim it off, okay? So what we would have to do then is to take this stuff here for your location map, scoot it over so it would fit into here. But I think what we'll do is, and again, because this is a rectangle, it's I can't really follow particular outlines. So what I would like to do is we're going to make a series of viewports instead of just this one. I'm going to take this shape because I know that's sufficient for what I need. Actually, I'll take that and I can bring it in over a little bit more. Yeah, that's really all I need. And now, if I take everything there, with the exception of the old north arrow there and the inset, and scoot it over just a little bit here. Do this. All right, so that should give me some room over here to do now. So what I want to do with this is let's move this guy back. Maybe there. And so what I want to do, Mike, is I'm going to make this, I'm going to make a new viewport, and I'm going to do it like this. I'm going to make this my current layer. I'm on viewports, and I'm going to draw a 2D polyline. And I'll say autocorrect for 90-degree corners. We'll say okay, and I'm going to go from, say, here up to here. And I'll go to here. And I'll come down to there. Let's go to here. Go to here, and then I'm going to close. Okay, now. This is going to be the shape of my new viewport. So I won't see this stuff and that legend over there, but I'm going to be able to see them because I'm going to make another little viewport over here, and we'll put the legend down on this side next. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at this viewport and see it is 1 to 300. Now, can I? I don't think I can add. Don't think I can add a vertex to that, which is what I would like to rather do. Yeah, see, it's not a polyline. So what we have to do is turn this into a viewport. Now we also have to I want to try to keep the same layer settings and all of that that's in this viewport into my new viewport. So what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to select this viewport. I'm going to keep it active keep it existing for right now. I'll just put it up here in case I need to borrow something from it. And let's see here. Viewport, I don't know, fit, lock, entity pointer 2, 3, and 4. So I want to say by entity, and this is going to be, I select that polyline as my viewport clip, okay? And now I'm going to select that and set its scale to match. Up. Well, let's see, standard scale, I'm in the right place here. There we go. All right. exactly on it there. Let's see now. See if I've got that cut off and match. Do I have enough room? Have I caught enough of this up here in this corner?
Yeah,
All right. And I see we need to freeze those point number layers.
yeah, that's one of the things I wanted to look at today.
Okay. I also see that electric line.
Yeah, it's going the wrong way.
Correct. Now, is it all one? Yes, it is. Okay, so now here's the problem is if we turn that around,
Can we just break it at the corner?
that's what we have to do. That's what I was getting ready to tell you, that if I turn it around like that, this goes correct, but then that is incorrect.
Right. Now, how did you turn that around?
This right up here, this is reverse polyline.
Okay,
And that's also on edit, polyline utilities, reverse polyline.
okay,
It's also on the standard AutoCAD P-Edit tool, if you ever use that command at all. The polyline edit, where you select a polyline and then you can do vertices and all of that. Well, one of the options now is this R for reverse. Okay, so there's 3 different ways of doing that. Now, we need to, oh, crud. See what I just did? There we go. Now,
what did you just do?
I zoomed that way out and I changed my scaling because I had forgotten to lock that. Now we are locked. All right, so that matches that one size wise. What is this guy right here?
It's piece of property. It's an
Okay,
adjoiner.
so I would say, oops. Let's change this a bit to, well, let's see if we have to make it too small, we won't do it.
Well, that whole line type and stuff needs to be changed. I haven't even worked on that yet.
Oh, okay, all right. All right, so first of all, for this electric line, we would need to break it at the corners. So I'm gonna come in here and I'm going to isolate that layer. So I want to make sure, yeah, see it's there. I wish it didn't do that. That really bothers me that it cuts that zoom level out. But anyway, just as a marker now, I'm going to that right there is actually the corner of that line. So I just want to use this as a temporary marker if I have to. Oops, let's put this on. Zero. Ah, come on. Wow. It even takes that.
layer 0 isn't supposed to respond to the isolate layer command?
Yeah, it is. Glad you're paying attention. So, is your layers on another screen?
No.
All right, there we go. Now, layer 0. Yep. Very good. All right. So I've just got that as a little marker so we can keep track every time this thing zooms in and out. All right. So to resolve that, then we're going to break that line at that point. So I will just go to edit, break at intersection. So if I select this line to break and then pick the intersection to break at right there. Okay, so that should be, oh, great. What's it doing now? All right, so now that we've done that, it's like I've lost control of things here. Let's see. Go back and request remote control again.
It's not popping up.
No, all right, can you, if you click in the map, is it just circle, circle, circle? Yeah. No, okay. Yeah, so now you're gonna need to reverse this direction, this one. So choose that command.
Do I edit it first? I go to edit.
You can do that or take it from the toolbar, either one, but it's a polyline utility.
Okay, which one is it
And
on
it's in the polyline toolbar. It's all the way to the right and then come back right there. Oh, you just passed it. The one that looks like two arrows heading on a 2-lane drive.
reverse polyline?
Yep. So there, so not that one, but that one. There you go. And now just hit enter when you're done. And now you can erase that little guy. And you can then turn your, there you go. It's like that. All right, so we need to freeze those point number layers maybe, or you said you had a question about it.
Yes, yes, that was the question is how do I do that? I tried, but I couldn't get it. I went to
Oh, okay.
here and I went down to point numbers and I went over to
To the viewport freeze. Yeah,
wait a minute, let me point numbers.
right.
Oh, I thought I froze it.
Well, we're in a new viewport, that's why. Now, if you go back and look at it, you should be.
Huh, I did that before and it didn't do it.
Yeah, but remember, Mike, that was in, I can't control your screen anymore, but hold on, let me see here. That was in this viewport up here.
Yeah,
Oh, I see. You meant you did it in that viewport and it didn't do it.
yeah.
Well, I don't know.
What are we gonna do with this viewport?
We can just throw it away. So just select, although I want to keep it there for a minute, just so we can make sure we've got everything matching.
We need to get this stuff back.
Yep, we will. I'll show you that in a sec.
Okay,
Let me, I'm going to request remote control again. Let's see if.
okay, it came up this time.
Okay, there we go. I think it says click to start now. Okay, so what we've got now is that viewport centered there where it is. I still want to put that and this stuff. Let me see that. And I don't want to move this one. But because I've selected the viewport and all of those words that you so nicely placed in relationship to where the viewport was, and they're going to move as a unit. That's why I was grabbing all of those things, not just the viewport, but also the text. But I want to bring this over. A little bit further there to the right. So that we'll put that legend over here as well. Now, so what we need to do, because you've got this and this as part of your model space, then we need to take that as another viewport into this model and put them in here. So we're going to see, we're on our layer viewports. That's correct. And we'll just make another viewport. So I'm going to go to view, viewports. And this time I'll create a model view. Instead of doing it by entity where I needed that weird shape, which I don't need anymore, I'm just going to say P for polygonal. And it says enter to use the last point follow start polyline. If I don't want to go quite to the edge. I want to come in a little bit like this. There we go. No, that's not even what I want to do. Viewports on off fit lock entity polygon 2, 3, 4. Well, polygonal. Yeah, you used to be able to type a 1. I don't know what's going on with it now, but anyway, there's that one. And I'll take it up here. Now let's see if I can. All right, there we go. Now, to get that to where we want it to be, crap, hold on. Remember back when it was when all it was just a picture of this corner, back when it was still looking at this, it was at 300 scale. So that will still serve me correctly. See down here, this 300 scale. I'm going to set that for my standard scale. Wow, really? This thing is really, really slow to respond here today. Let's see. See that? You should have seen it change immediately. Are you seeing that change size on your end?
No. There, change size.
Yeah, so I hit save and it did. So anyway, all right. So now I'll select this. It's not locked, it's at 300. So I double click inside of that and then I'm going to position that, you know, wherever you had it. Or however you would like it is actually the better thing to say. I'll select it and then turn it, I'll lock it back. Now you can position that however you want. And you can even go in here and even though this viewport might have these lines of a different size or different color, different line style and such, you can make this viewport have its own independent of the other one. So now that was apparently they made a block out of a hatch pattern, or that's what TerraModel does when it converts, and none of that matters. Although I do want to send it to the back. And I also want to make its color sort of gray. As long as it's not the same gray as that, that's 253. I think we'll take take the line work here. And instead of 253, we'll make it white, which will mean it'll be black. Okay, now I'll put this up a little bit like this. You can now this is not, you know, I wouldn't put a vicinity map 1 inch equals 300 feet because this is not the 300-foot scale. Okay.
Right.
This is that because this was when they made this, or when they did it with TerraModel, it's not. See, this is just a copy of line work over here to this side over here just to show it. And they built everything all in one spot. I mean, you understand how that's happening. So you could figure out, you know, what is this difference in scale? If I took a look at this distance, say from here to here, which was like 1968. Get it a little more precise. So 1940, let's go from .531 All right, so 1959, basically, 1959. Then we'll also see what this one is. $296. So 296, 1959 divide. So there's 0.15, so 300. No, let's see, 19. What was that first one? $1959. 296. So 19. $296. It's a 6.6 time reduction. So 300 times, so it's 1985. So that's basically an inch equals 2,000. So they scaled it to essentially quad distance. Oddly enough, or maybe not oddly. So that would be your 1 inch equals 2,000 feet, or 1 inch equals 1,985 feet. But I think, again, for your purposes, you could call it quad.
Approximated.
Yeah. And, so, and if you need to reposition this, then this is just like these other viewports. Just select your viewport and come over here in the properties and unlock it, then double click inside it and pan to move it around, and then double click back outside of it. And wow, this thing. Then double click back outside of it and then relock it. So anything you need to do there. Now that sets that up. Now let's make another one, another viewport, and to put the legend in. So we're going to come right underneath that, and we'll just go to another viewport. And give it a little room there to make some titles or whatever. I'm going to sort of see what I'm doing is I'm sort of getting that in the center, and then I'm just going to roll this up. So I know I'm pointing at the right spot. Now, because they already sized it correctly to match everything out in model space, it makes perfect sense to set the scale of this one exactly to the same as the other, as the big one. So 1 inch equals 300 feet. And in fact, they all are, that's what this one is as well. The reason we did the math on this one up here at the top is just so if you wanted to make a statement down here, vicinity map 1 inch equals, that's drawn in model space at 6.6 times the size. And it turns out that that's roughly correlated to quad scale anyway. So now you've got this one set to 300, just like it was before. And I'm going to lock it. We'll save everything. Let me save. And now let me read again. point. What I need to point for that for. Now, where were the words that were over here, Mike? Did you?
What words? Oh,
In your legend?
good question.
Now, I'm in model space now. Had you originally moved them over to?
No, I didn't.
Okay, that's all right. Easiest thing to do in this case, I would think, would be just simply go look at your Terra model map and just retype some text.
Okay.
All right. And so don't try to go back and capture it all and just to say you pulled it in. Now, this legend is again in this viewport, and you can select it and move it anywhere you want, you could even move it back over here, but then you'd have to move this out of the way. You could move it up to here, wherever it makes the most sense.
Okay, well, I've got to copy these things and put them over in
Over
this
there,
corner.
yeah, right. So now, do you need this area
No.
table?
I'll need one, but I'll just do a new one for this.
All right, yeah. All right, so for now, let's get this stuff right there. That's the part we need. And let's see how it's going to fit. We may need to shrink it down a little bit. It might be a little too tall for this particular viewport. We'll see.
Right.
All right, so we're going to select those and let's move. I'm going to just move from the corner point down there, that corner point over to this corner point. Let's see how that fits.
Pretty good.
That looks perfect, I think. We don't have to do any adjustments, so that part's good. Now, what about that is your certification. All right. So, yeah, so what I would do here on your legend deal is I would take, just something like that as a starting point. And again, I'm going to, well, let's just move that from there.
Get your leg caught between two pavers.
Hang on a second, Mike. What'd you do, Chris?
Skin between two of those pavers. I set it down and it caught it, just pinched it.
Well, why would you do something like that? I thought I raised smarter children. Sorry,
Hey.
Mike.
I'm sorry.
I've got an idiot working here at the house. So no. Anyway,
Tools are put up.
Yeah.
Pavers are brought up here. Everything's leveled out. I mean, for the most part, whatever else is going to be done will fill. Holes are dug. Going to Home Depot when I get the panels,
the
the pickets, yeah.
Okay.
And then pick up the boys and I'll come back and drop the pickets off.
Okay. Sounds good. See you in a bit. Be careful. Okay. Sorry, Mike.
Okay.
Got my son's out of here actually building some fence work stuff for us, and he being, I would say, it was between jobs, but definitely between jobs, but he might even be between wives, although I hope he just gives up on it. So figured he needed a little extra cash and we needed some work done. So anyway, I would put these guys over here. Now, I would then maybe move this back into this area here. I'll go in here. I don't need that point for anything at all. I'm just going to take that out. Just a straight point for something. And there is a line down here. That is,
That's the floodplain, probably.
yep, that's what it looks like. So I would then just take this and let's see, what would I? Don't really need those lines. Maybe just the text. Because you've already got the lines. You already got these lines.
Wonder what did happen to those words.
I don't know. I see that you've got like points set up for those endpoints of those lines, which you didn't need. You don't need to have points and then lines.
Well, I didn't do that. That just came from the Terra model
Right,
file.
right. No, I realized that. That's why I was just getting rid of them though, because I saw that they were there. So yeah, then I would, maybe take something like this and I would put it, where you want it in relationship to that. Now, you need to edit those words, of course,
Right.
since that's there to get these to match coming down. We're going to copy it, and we're going to copy it from that endpoint to that endpoint to that endpoint. So relative to each of these lines, it's always going to be to that same distance away from it. You're not going to have to, and they're also, lined up because these edges are lined up.
Cool.
All right. So that would be, now the only thing to remember is if you decide you want to move the legend somewhere else, if you go to move this, see what happens?
Yeah.
That would go along for the ride. So you would have to say, move, make sure you get not only the viewport, but also those words that you just laid over top of it.
Okay.
How you can move it like that, and it'll all go together.
Okay.
All right. So that, and we don't need this anymore here.
I don't think I need any of that anymore. Well, look at the words location map, maybe.
Yeah.
Those words disappeared too from the other drawing. I don't think that scales right for that one.
It is not. Remember, we just did the math and said it was 2,000. And now, just I know you won't be able to see that red line. I could have left that there. It would have been no problem, but it just sort of bothers me.
Okay.
All right, so I think that's going to be what you need. Again, the best thing in the world to do, and you might decide that you want to pull this north arrow and put it over here, but that might be too close to that one. You know, just leave all that up to you.
Right.
Make sure the notes, do you need?
Well, I'm gonna have a lot more notes than that.
Oh, man, I wish we'd known that. I need to rearrange that then. I didn't think about that. I'm sorry, I should have. So you're gonna need like column space. So let's do that. Remove this for now, right over here. This is I'm gonna need to move this and all of its words. So all of that. Okay, move. Move previous and this. I thought I got that. All right, now go from there. All right, this guy goes. Sorry, Mike, I missed that one. Is that this guy?
Yep.
Okay.
I'd say just move the notes below the north arrow.
Well, yep. Let's keep them there. And then just, yeah, so that should give you plenty of room for some notes there. That's that. And then this stuff for your legend. Let's see, where could we put that? You could put it up here.
Yeah, that'll work.
Okay. Let's make sure we don't snap to anything there. So there's your legend, your north arrow, your notes, your seal, revisions, that. These cross over a little bit here. That's absolutely fine. There's not a thing wrong with that. The only thing that would be an issue is if you were in model space and you had something drawn out here, this would show up, you know.
Right.
We're just parallel here just so that you can get a sense of where these things are. So I think that part's good. If we're done with those, you know, any of these things, when you're finally done, Mike, erase all this extra crap that you don't need.
Yeah. Can I erase that thing up there too?
Yeah, and you just select that and hit delete and that'll go away. The whole thing will go away. So I'll go ahead and save that. So that will basically be.
Okay, let's come back to my question about the style of the acreage. What do you think about that? Now I changed the text format to match this.
Yeah.
That isn't what it was originally.
Yeah, and that's fine.
And is there a way to make that a part of this multi-text?
There is, yeah.
Is that a bad idea though?
No, I don't necessarily think it's a bad idea. Now,
I
What-
tried to convert to multi-text and I couldn't get it to work.
Right, because this is,
That's all in paper space.
oh, yeah, okay, gotcha. So this is, that's a multi-text and that's a multi-text. See, when I select it, I look up here and it says M text.
Huh.
So it
Wonder why
already,
that's in text.
yeah, it already is in text. So what you have to do,
Oh, I know why, because there was square footage there that I erased.
yeah, could be. But it wasn't just that. It's also when you do this annotate
Yeah,
and that would be for area defaults rather. Square feet and acres. And you see right here, we've got a check, oh, right here. This
yeah,
check.
okay.
In the middle. So when you did the calculation, it created M text.
Okay,
So now, if you want that to be a part of that one, because they're both M text, you need to, there might be something here under this. Let's see, join text entities. I don't think that would necessarily work. Let me see.
what does explode text do?
Well, that is if you have some text, in this case, I'm trying to,
Just copy one of those things and bring it over to the side.
yeah, I will, but what I really want to do is let's just do, I'm gonna set the height up to here, rotation, and I'm gonna say some fancy text, all right. And what I would like to do is yeah, let's make a new one of these here. Just call it. Well, sure, why not? Just for an example, that's all we're doing. All right, so. All right, so see how this text is made with a font. And if you needed, for whatever reason, let's say you needed to send this drawing to somebody else that was going to, manufacture something or do something on the ground with it, then and you didn't have the actual font file. Now, see, this really doesn't apply a whole lot anymore, but watch what happens when I do that. When I select that, say explode the text, well, it takes that text and it looks at the outline of that brush stroke and it creates a polyline out of that. Now that's one that was a really kind of strange looking font. Gosh, I can't there we go. That's a little more what I was. So this is a little bit more standard. This is a what's called an outline font. And so if I explode that, see, it replicates the actual outline of the letters as polylines. So it basically explodes them. It's no longer text. And so now I could do some, strange things like, if I were making some kind of cool little logo or something, I can do something with the text that like that. Okay.
Okay, that doesn't do what I wanted to do.
Yeah, it's not at all what you wanted. Now, if you wanted like individual letters or something out of that, there's ways of doing that as well. But now back to this thing though, if you want to add, you want to take that text and you want to incorporate this text into it because they're both in text, you could do it one of two ways. You can double click this guy, select everything with a, select that guy, select everything, copy. You go into here, double click this guy, go to the end, hit enter, and then paste. And then you could just erase this one.
Can I do cut instead of copy?
Yeah, or just select it and hit delete. Okay.
Okay.
Now, so there's one way. The other way is if you explode both of those so they're no longer in text. So and that's sort of different from this text explode. Is if you say explode text there, you get all those outlines like I showed you.
Yeah.
But if you select, and I'm saying this because I'm thinking, if I select that and if I go over and choose this explode, now you've exploded an in-text entity into individual text entities.
Okay.
And now you can go back to that edit text. What was it?
It's down a ways. Convert text to M text, down 3 more. There, whoop, back up there.
And then let's see. Group. Dink, 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 and boom. Combine the text entities on the same row. All right. So either way, that does it that way too. But
Okay.
to be able to combine these two separate things, they have to be text. So you have to use this explode. So that explodes entities. So that creates text out of M text. Whereas this edit text explode text is not the same thing. That's where
I
you
got you.
blow that text up. Okay. So that's one way. The other way is like I showed you, just edit this M text, copy it, go back, and then you can delete it, and then edit that M text, go to the end and paste it. Now,
Yeah.
you also wondered about whether something looks better centered or otherwise. Let's say if I looked at this, now you can, once you're sitting there, you see you can center. What's going on? What did I do?
Went way over there.
Oh, yeah, like that. Thank you. So it'd be like this. Now,
Yeah, I don't.
let me select everything and center it. So that would be like that. Or you could leave everything left justified and then just center that number. Now,
What do you think looks best?
I I think in this case, probably this.
Okay,
But now here's another option here. These could be, you know, things like this, and maybe even not quite so prominent. Let's see, what are they? 0.125. So, well, they're not that tall. But let's change their, maybe not notes. Let's see. Standard. There we go. So standard, they're not quite as heavy as that.
okay,
And then, you know, maybe put that, let's say none. I'm just looking at, now, is that this whole part deal?
yeah,
Okay.
uh-huh,
You could decide whether you wanted to straddle it like that or not. I'm not a fan of overwriting stuff necessarily, but I also don't want people to think that that's this and you forgot to label this.
well, there are some septic areas here that I'm gonna have to put reserve areas around, so that's gonna be in the way there.
All right, so then I would sort of put that there. And then, you know, you could have the overall acreage as a separate thing, even a separate font. So I'm not sure. I don't know that I like that necessarily. I think I sort of like this.
Yeah,
And you could even do this. Let's take everything and let's turn it into legend, or not legend, but standard. Standard, if I can.
it's up further, I think.
Why isn't it alphabetical? Huh. All right, so that's all standard, but then you could take the ownership line and if we made that I see. Just say no, we'll just make it bold. There we go. And do we want tracking to be a little higher? Maybe not. Let's see. What? There we go. So that then will look sort of like that. It's you can get a better sense of it from once you put it into a PDF, because the IntelliCAD engine is sort of clumsy with the fonts. It's not showing you exactly what it looks like, but I think that looks pretty good unless any of those things need to be like, maybe if we this, let's see if I select it all. One. And then selected this. fine. See what that looks like. No, I'm not real happy with that either. I like that better. That gives us some standout being bold. If that's what we want, I guess. Or again, it could just simply be all the same. That would be the easiest. You wouldn't have to spend a lot of time putzing around with fonts.
That's true.
I mean, all I really did was I selected these. Let me select. See if I select similar, does it only get those? Yes. Let's change that style from text main or title main to standard so that they're not quite so heavy. Then when you edit them, just select the name of the owner and make it bold. And I think that'll do, perhaps.
Yeah.
And let's see, you'll need to couple of things you can do with that is that would be what I would recommend to, keep it within.
Okay. Yeah, that's good.
Okay. And any of those long names. Now there's nothing wrong with doing this either, as long as it's clear as to which property it is. So again, I'll leave that to you. I think that's good. So yeah, so remember, one of the two ways there is either just edit that M text and add that onto the last line. And you don't even have to, edit this, select all, copy, and paste. I did that because I'm too lazy to type that out. You could just edit this and type that and then delete this one by itself. There's nothing wrong with that either. Or select each of those in response to this explode tool over here on the toolbar.
Right.
Now they're text, and then go back to that tool that you know how to do to turn those into in text.
Right.
Okay, so any of those are fine. Okay, let's see. Now, one thing I wanted to take a look at here, what I was noticing is this text, and and I put this on it's see, CAD systems aren't really word processors. So to be fair to them, they didn't know, that people were going to try to, put numbered paragraphs and stuff like that. But they've gotten better over the years. But now we've got some old things that we need to fix that are left over. Here's one of them. So there's a case where they just typed the number, period, space, and then started writing text, but it didn't wrap correctly. So I'm going to do an after spacing. Let's see. Let's say 0.1. Yep. And also, I'm going to make that a numbered list. There we go. And I'm going to put in this paragraph an after spacing of 0.125. Okay. So now when you, let's see, it might be a little too big of a gap in those. I'm right click choosing paragraph. This 0.3 see if I do this with that. That's what I really should do. Yeah. All right, so that's a little better. And now you can see also part of this results of where people just, you know, typed in spaces and such to make things line up. Well, now you don't have to do that anymore. I think that's another case. All right, so I think that's got it. I think I would not. Now there's the other thing is, shoot, there's another double space. So just now, one thing I would not necessarily do is, you know, if you're used to and you want to see all of your text all uppercase or something, which is fine. Same thing with these adjoiner names, or you can leave them lowercase like that. That's fine too. I'm a big preferer myself of the mixed case. You know, I like some lowercase stuff to help balance out the visual nature of what you're working on, but there's a lot of agencies that insist on them being uppercase because that's the way they did it 50 years ago, back when we had Leroy machines and we didn't really want to bother flipping the Leroy guide over to get the lowercase. So yeah, like Alcosan here in Pittsburgh is that way. Although, you know, they'd never tell you that's why that they do that, but they will insist on it, everything being all capital letters. They don't want to see it. And part of that's because, you know, you get different consultants working on different projects and they can't, you know, they're hopelessly never going to match. So, you know, I'm trying not to be too critical of that as a rule, but they being a government agency, they get very, very bombastic about what are their rules and you will follow their rules. And yeah, I'm not telling you anything new with any of that. So anyway, so that is now set that up so it can start to be edited. And as you go through these, it's just going to start numbering your paragraphs automatically. You're not going to have to type in number 4, number
Okay,
5.
great.
Okay.
Perfect.
All right.
Now, can I copy text from another plat into those notes that it'll do the same thing?
Yeah. You, in fact, if you do that, let's let's go over here, for instance, and say this guy. And if I took, you know, say just this amount of money or money.
Actually, I need all of those, the note number 1. And yeah, and that note too, because the FEMA note that's on there isn't accurate anymore.
Okay, so if we have that one copied. And now, so that one will be okay. This one be okay. So you just, it's not, does it replace this one?
Yes.
All right, so then we could say right here. Now, there's two things. If you paste, it's going to try to carry the formatting from that other spot and put it into this one, which is not really necessarily something we want. It might be okay, and probably would be in this case, but if you go to paste special, you're just going to say paste without any formatting, and that way it will. Oh no, no, sorry. Let's see. Well, it brought the numbers over, but the text heights got screwed up. Let me see here. Let's undo that. All right, 0.1. Let's. All right, so I'll select. Go to the end of there, go to start of there, and go all the way down to the end. So paste without character formatting, no. They may have it implemented backwards here. Let's see. All right, let's just try plain old paste. No, see, that does it too. Paste without any formatting is really what we ought to be able to do. And I don't understand why it comes in so disregarding that. So if I select all, there we go. Well, the flood
Jefferson's misspelled.
insurance rate map for Jefferson County. There you go. Well, that must have been misspelled in this one too.
Yeah, it is. I'm trying to remember where that one came from.
The flood insurance rate map for Jefferson County. So the IN from insurance, it got inserted,
Yeah.
Got split apart. But
What's the title block of that plat? Oh, okay, that one is an old one. I
Yeah.
guess I never caught it.
no, they wouldn't have. The only time they'll catch it is if you're desperately trying to meet a deadline. All right, so that should get you on your way.
Okay.
So yeah, try all those things. And if you get into this situation where you get a bunch of stuff all goofy and mixed up, select everything inside the editor. Okay. And once
Yeah.
it's all selected. Then when you choose these items up here, it sets all of the stuff to match that. But be a little careful. Now I'm right clicking and choosing paragraph because some paragraphs are different spacings and some of the other. But also that, like, if you don't want, let's see, if I select these 3 paragraphs, you can set, see, here's this 0.085 after space and a 0.2 inch left space on the, from the numbering. But the numbering is bullets and lists, and that's numbered.
Yeah.
And you can have it, you know, to start over again to begin. So if you go to 1, 2, 3 and you some paragraph without numbers, then you want to go 1, 2, 3 again, that would be begin. Or you could say 1, 2, 3, turn your numbering off and write several paragraphs. And then you wanted to pick back up with 4, 5, 6, you would go down to select those, your bullets and lists, and say continue instead of begin. Okay, so that's as close to being a word processor as it's going to get for you.
Right.
All right.
Okay, very good.
All right. Anything else you can think of while we're,
No, I don't think.
all righty. Well, oh, did I send you the link to the last session? I think I
Yes,
did.
yes, you did.
Okay, good. So I will do the same with this, and that should get you on your way to where you can get that whipped up in good shape. And then anything you might want to polish, give me a yell. All right.
Okay.
I'm going to
Thank
hit,
you, sir.
you bet. Thank you. I'll hit the save button there. I will again send these others. Let me stop remote. I will stop share screen, and I'll
Have a
send.
good evening.
All right, sir. Take care.
Yep,
Bye.
you too.